Margot stood on the threshold of her new existence, a young bride in medieval Europe where marriage was not a union of romance, but a binding contract dictated by societal norms and religious dogma. She was just 15, her husband Henrik a man twice her age, chosen not for love, but the dowry he offered. Her father had been swayed by the promise of pigs and barley, commodities that meant survival in the harsh reality of 1347 AD. Margot was nervous, her heart racing as Henrik approached the marriage bed in the dimly lit stone cottage. The air was heavy, filled with the scent of damp wool and the echoes of raucous laughter from outside where Henrik's friends waited impatiently. Margot's anxiety was palpable. Her hands trembled as she clutched the woolen garment her mother had meticulously sewn. The echoes of those crude jests resounded through the thin walls of the cottage, a reminder that privacy was a luxury not afforded to her. Her role, her duties, taught to her in hushed tones by her mother, swirled in her mind as she prepared for the inevitability of consummation, a spectacle that would prove her worth to the masculine world outside. This is not a tender tale. It is the stark reality of medieval intimacy, where superstition and survival dictated the practices within the household. Margot's marriage was not sealed by affection or mutual respect, but by the loud, intrusive proof of consummation that would echo through the night. This practice was ancient, the presence of witnesses outside the marital bed a testament to the transactional nature of Margot's new life. The medieval bedroom bore the weight of expectations, the doctrines of the church, ancient pagan rituals, and community surveillance converged here. It was never truly private. It was a battleground where Margot's body became a territory contested by Henrik and the doctrines that governed them both. For the church, excessive pleasure, even within marriage, was sinful, as Saint Jerome had decreed. Sexual practices were defined by theological debates, shaping every intimate moment. Thomas Aquinas, with his Summa Theologica, outlined strict rules. Intercourse permitted only during specific days and seasons, and even then only in the face-to-face position prescribed by the church. Margot faced these constraints, her every action overshadowed by the threat of damnation. She learned of these restrictions from her mother, the local priest whispering tales of eternal punishment disguised as confession. During Lent, Henrik's advances became a profound moral dilemma: submit for peace or resist for salvation. Understanding female sexuality was riddled with misconceptions. Margot lived in a world where women were seen as incomplete men. Medical theories perpetuated myths, like the belief that women's organs were simply inverted male ones. Such ignorance led to harmful beliefs, like the notion that rape couldn't result in pregnancy. If Margot were to conceive after any assault, medieval courts could see it as evidence of her pleasure, thus making her complicit. Margot had heard tales of the wandering womb, a myth where a woman's uterus could invade her body, causing hysteria or even death. Treatments ranged from strange to bizarre, fumigating a woman's vagina to entice the womb back to its proper place, applying foul odors to drive it out. Pagan fertility rituals persisted, advocates branded as witches keeping secret knowledge alive. The wise women in Margot's village preserved these traditions, risking persecution. They gathered herbs like pennyroyal and tansy under the moon to brew teas that could prevent pregnancy or ensure male children, the line between medicine and harm infinitely thin. In Margot's world, intimacy was a series of negotiations, the intersection of fear and survival, dictated by powers beyond her control. Her story, emblematic of countless women throughout history, is both a testament to endurance and a cautionary tale about the legacy of misunderstanding and oppression. just another life in medieval Europe, where the most private moments were laden with expectation and fear, where every act was scrutinized, and where true freedom was as elusive as the silken dreams of a girl standing in a stone cottage, waiting to become a woman. The story unfolds in a world where the lines between faith and superstition blur, taking us back to medieval times, a period full of enigmatic beliefs and mysterious practices. Set against the backdrop of a society deeply entrenched in church doctrines, yet rich with folk traditions, the tale offers a glimpse into the lives of women navigating the perilous terrain of medieval contraception and childbirth. Margot is a young woman whose fate hangs on her virginity, a prized commodity more valuable than gold. Her father has arranged her marriage to Henrik, a man she now must prove pure to. As the wedding approaches, Margot's anxiety grows. Uncertain about the validity of literal purity tests, she seeks the counsel of older women who share secret tricks to ensure the bloodied sheets expected after her wedding night. In contrast, Henrik is indifferent to Margot's predicament, consumed by societal promises spun around manhood and dominance. He is more concerned by the urges his faith condemns, the very essence of pleasure, frowned upon by the formidable church that labels many sexual acts are wrong. The wedding night arrives. Margot's heart pounds, her mind racing through tales of women scorned for deceiving their husbands with pricked fingers or hidden animal blood. She finds herself trapped between despair and determination. When no blood stains the sheets, panic ensues. The household, adhering to sacred traditions, stands ready to proclaim her disgrace. Fortunately, a twist of fate saves Margot. Henrik, having read the poet Andreas Capellanus' writings, asserts a love for Margot that defies dogma and conventions. He declares not only his acceptance of her, but questions the ceremonial validation of virginity itself, sparking whispers through the community as they ponder the bold disregard of deeply held beliefs. As the pair grows closer, they exchange tales of eerie folklore, those swirling suspicions of succubi and incubi, fears that loom over their lives more than fleeting. Henrik discloses his terrifying dreams involving shadowy demons, a consequence he fears for straying too far from righteousness. Margot learns about menstruation as punishment, a lesson drilled into young women by clerics. She finds solace among herbalists shrouded in secrecy, wielding remedies, tea to ease menstrual pain, moss for protection, passed down in hushed tones to prevent accusations of witchcraft. Near their village, the ravaging fear of sexual demons intensifies. Each unexplained occurrence, each nocturnal apparition, casts doubts and stirs unease. Margot and Henrik protect each other through secrecy and understanding, navigating whispers and sidelong glances. The community's fear reveals fragile bonds underpinned by gossip and suspicion, an understanding as ephemeral as smoke. The tale concludes with a revelation. Margot becomes an unwitting conduit for change. Her struggle champions private dignity over public spectacle and unwelcome intrusion, an advocacy that begins to chip away at the invisible yet impenetrable fortress of societal conventions. In a world fraught with mysticism, where secrets compete with unyielding traditions, Margot's journey paints an enduring testament to courage through vulnerability, underpinned by love, an emotion quietly defying the barriers with quiet resilience. The landscape of medieval love and sexuality paints a vivid contrast between societal norms and individual desires. Influenced heavily by the tales of courtly love, this era glorified unfulfilled romantic longing as a spiritual endeavor, distinctly separating the pragmatic marital union from the concept of emotional affection. In contrast to the romantic ideals celebrated by troubadours, peasant marriages were far more practical, driven by economic factors over personal choice. In certain regions, a peculiar custom known as bundling allowed engaged couples to test compatibility. This involved sleeping in the same bed, yet fully clothed and separated by a board, providing a safety net against the risks of pregnancy. Despite strong attempts by Christian authorities to suppress pagan practices, fertility rituals managed to persevere. Festivities like May Day were imbued with sensual symbolism, giving young individuals the freedom to explore connections outside societal constraints, often resulting in a noticeable increase in births come February. Wedding ceremonies skillfully blended Christian and pagan traditions, including grain showers and herbal charms aimed at enhancing fertility. Conception theories of the time were a curious mix of Aristotelian philosophy, religious dogma, and folklore. Remarkably, it was believed that both sexes contributed seed for conception and that a woman's orgasm was essential, leading to the mistaken belief that pregnancy from rape implied consent. Astrology also played a role, with signs and lunar phases purportedly influencing a child's gender and fate. As the Church increased its scrutiny over sexual behavior during the Inquisition, confession began to serve as a tool for extracting personal secrets. Sexual transgressions were met with severe punishments, ranging from the humiliation of caging adulterous women to the brutality of castrating rapists. Reserved for the upper classes, marriage manuals and medical texts revealed sophisticated sexual guidance, highlighting the divide between public teachings and private practice. Although chastity belts were rare, they symbolized control over female autonomy. Brothels operated within regulated districts even as they were publicly condemned, and the chilling concept of droit du seigneur illustrated the precarious situation of peasant wives. In stark contrast, medieval homes offered scant privacy. Sexual relations often occurred amidst family and attendants. The nobility had the luxury of secluded chambers and the leisure to explore desires, unlike the peasants who saw marriage as a means of survival, driven by the need for offspring to labor on the land. Love and pleasure, viewed as distractions, remained elusive to many. Despite these oppressive customs, medieval individuals found ways to resist, pursuing forbidden practices and underground rituals to satisfy their desires. This demonstrates the resilience of human longing throughout the ages. Emerging from this background, Margot's story creates a compelling narrative as Henrik reaches for her in her cottage, a reflection not just of personal trepidation, but the weight of cultural sexual tensions. Their tale personifies a world where intimacy was fraught with public scrutiny, political implications, and emotional perils. Unsatisfied with oppressive traditions, many medieval people like Margot sought the pleasures of connection and love in secret. Today, these stories serve as a testament to the persistence of human sexuality, shaped by insecurity, control, and desire. By exploring medieval intimacy, we gain insight into how far we have progressed and recognize the enduring echoes of ancient struggles woven into our modern sexual narrative. In the flickering candlelight, Henrik's hands reaching for Margot epitomize not merely two souls, but the clash of a civilization's deep-seated fears and desires, played out in a realm that was never truly private, never truly secure, and never truly belonged to them.